So Zillow just released some more market predictions for 2024, and it's got a lot of people talking about whether or not they're accurate or even realistic. And I know what you're probably thinking, who in the world cares what Zillow thinks, and why would we even trust them anyway after their wildly inaccurate zestimates and other predictions that just haven't turned out to be true? Well, we're going to dive into all that right here, where they hit the mark, where they missed big time, and what you absolutely need to know to navigate the housing market right now. They start things off in their predictions by saying this: more homes will hit the market as homeowners accept that mortgage rates aren't falling anytime soon. And I actually agree with this. I think homeowners have finally realized that rates are not going to drop back in the 2 to 3% range like they were at during COVID. Zillow's economists say they have a higher for longer outlook on interest rates going into 2024. But what does Fannie Mae, the Mortgage Bankers Association, and the National Association of Realtors have to say about their predictions for rates in 2024? Well, Fannie Mae predicts that we will average 7.1% in the first quarter and move to a 6.7% average rate by the fourth quarter. And the Mortgage Bankers Association predicts that we will start in the same place, but end the year much lower at 6.1%. And the National Association of Realtors believes that we will see another bump in the first quarter up to 7.5% and then end with an average of 6.3%. Now, compared to the 3% interest rates that we had back during COVID, these seem much higher. Obviously, they're more than double what we were working with back then. However, if there are buyers that entered the market at the end of last year going into this year, and they've been working with 8% interest rates and seeing numbers in that range, seeing some numbers in the 6.5% range or even lower would be a welcome sight, and it would also bring a lot more buyers into the market if it actually does drop back into the low sixes. Now let's take a look at the next three predictions they make for 2024. And by the way, make sure to comment below what you think of their predictions along the way. The next prediction that they make is that home buying costs will level off, giving hopeful buyers a chance to catch up. That's a bold statement for a time when home affordability is at its worst rate in history, and their reasoning why it's going to improve is pretty interesting as well. They say that Zillow's latest forecast calls for home values to hold steady in 2024, falling 0.2%. Yes, you heard that right, 0.2%. That's basically no change at all. And at the national median home price of $431,000, that equates to roughly $5 a month less on your mortgage payment at a 7% interest rate. So it's even less of an impact in the sixes. So I don't see how that's going to improve housing costs for buyers. And in fact, I think the opposite would happen. If rates drop back down into the low sixes, buyer demand would increase. And with the current inventory on the market, home values would naturally have to increase as well. Not only that, you'd have to pay more to get the home that you want, and you'd probably pay more cash out of pocket to get the home that you want. So again, I don't see how cost of buying is going to be better for buyers in 2024. In fact, I think it's going to be the opposite. And all we have to do is look back to 2020 when rates fell while inventory was low to see that what happens during those times is that there are bidding wars on the houses that are available, driving prices up. And not only that, the terms of the deal start to favor the sellers. We saw almost every single offer during that period foregoing inspections. So if you're going to have to do that again, just imagine the hidden cost of finding out that there is a major problem with your house after you buy it. So again, I don't see how buying costs are going to level off, and I don't think you have to be an economist to really see that if you lower interest rates and prices barely drop or level off, that you're going to have more competition in a market with really low housing inventory with no real catalyst to put more houses on the market. So make your own assumption, your own opinion there, but to me, it just seems like these buying costs will go up for buyers in 2024. But that's not all. Their next prediction conflicts with this one by saying the new starter home will be a single family rental. They say that demand for single family rentals will increase while buyers continue to get priced out of the market. Now, that doesn't sound like buying costs leveling out to me. And the thing is, I agree with them. I think a lower interest rate environment will price more buyers out of the market than currently in the interest rate environment we are in. And I'm personally seeing more and more people moving from out of state that are reaching out to me wanting to rent first, either renting a single family home and they don't want to do a townhouse or a condo because they really just want the feel of the single family home, even though they can't afford it. And regardless of whether or not that's a smart move, it's the trend that I'm seeing right now. And if you're curious if I do think that's a smart move, just stick around to the end when I tell you about what I think you should do in this current market environment depending on your situation. But the next prediction here makes sense when you read it, but it isn't actually taking into account the mindset of the buyers in this current market. Zillow predicts that traditional home buyers will compete with home flippers for homes that need a little TLC. And their reasoning here is that because buyers are giving up on their dream homes with the higher housing costs, they're having to settle for homes that need a lot more work, which are what flippers are focusing on, and therefore they'll be competing with each other. And while it does sound like it makes sense, it's not what I'm seeing in the market right now. Actually, what I'm seeing is that buyers that are still buying the fixer-uppers are strapped for cash, and they really don't have money for renovations for a kitchen and a bathroom, especially when inflation has caused these costs to skyrocket themselves. So instead of going into these big projects when they already don't have a lot of cash to buy the home in the first place, they're deciding to hold back, save money, and rent in the meantime, and they're focusing, instead of fixing up a home, they're focusing on increasing their pay, getting a promotion at work so that they can afford their actual dream home. And we can debate whether or not that's a smart move, but it's what people are doing. They're just not as excited to have to go into a 1960s kitchen and fully renovate it when they're looking at their monthly payment that's double what it was just a few years ago during the pandemic. So back then, people were buying these up. That made sense. They were competing with flippers during that time. But right now, I'm just not seeing the excitement for a project. People would rather increase their income, save up money, and just wait to buy the home that they really want. And their last big prediction is about artificial intelligence. What they say is that AI will improve the home search experience. They say that Zillow tech experts expect a variety of new tools and technologies designed for real estate agents next year, allowing them more time to connect with more clients and prioritize face-to-face interactions. Agents have been using AI to assist with writing listing descriptions and to create 3D content for their listing. Next year's advancements are expected to have an emphasis on visual and multimodal capabilities, including more rich media content. And I just want to make two quick points here about their predictions, and then I'll make my own AI predictions about how I think it will impact the real estate market. And the first thing is that you should really look out for AI-powered listing descriptions. I've seen agents using them, and unfortunately, they either embellish facts about a home or they're just downright inaccurate. And while AI is really beneficial, it can be a big help for generating ideas, even writing out outlines, it should not take over really good copywriting from the agents themselves or their marketing managers. Speaking of promoting listings, I think that 3D tours are going to take a huge leap forward. Now, currently I'm using them on nearly all of my listings, and I think they're really beneficial for those that are buying out of state. And so many people moving to Maryland are moving from out of state. So I think the vast improvements here are going to be that there's more interactive capabilities within 3D tours. And I would love to see this. I would love to be able to promote the things about my seller's home that maybe I can't fit in the listing description. And maybe you just click on an item in a room and I can tell you all about it. Or you click on a material and I can tell you why it's unique. I would love to see this. I do think this is coming around the corner and it would be a welcome sight. And my big prediction for Zillow and Redfin and Homes.com is that they're all going to go to the AI model for their search feature. Zillow has already talked about this, having a plain language feature where you can just go and start talking to it about what you want in a home. You can say things like, show me all the open houses with a pool this weekend from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. and it'll spit that out. They're already playing with that technology. So I think every single company is going to adopt AI in that way. I think your search experience is going to be vastly better. I think it's going to be able to learn what you like about houses and what you don't, but I think there's a huge limitation here as well. And the big limitation I see here is that AI cannot see things like power lines in the background, so they're only going to go off of what the listing description says. They're also not going to know if there's something nearby that maybe would deter you from moving to that area. They're not going to be able to see how close the neighbors are out the window, or if you have a bad view of something out the window. And maybe the photos don't show that as well. So you're very limited on what AI can do. Yes, it's going to be able to take the criteria that are online. It's going to probably be able to analyze the photos for colors and features and things like that. But there are huge limitations and it does not completely replace needing either an agent or needing to see the house in person. Now, enough of the predictions. Let's go into what you should do right now if you're really stuck between buying or waiting and renting. And I'm going to give you the advice that I would give to my own clients. And my advice is very simple. If you need to move right now and you can actually afford the payment and you plan on being there for at least 5 years, go ahead and buy the house. Real estate should be thought of as a long-term investment. It really shouldn't be a short-term speculative play. So if you're planning on living there a while, you're going to be just fine as long as you don't stretch your budget too thin. And that leads us to why you shouldn't buy a home right now. If you're eyeing up houses and the monthly payment would stretch you too thin where you barely have any savings left at the end of the month, absolutely do not buy. You never know when certain costs are going to go up, like gas and groceries and things that will just completely wipe out your budget. And then you're having to determine, do I buy groceries or pay my mortgage payment? And we all know what you're going to have to do in that scenario. So don't do that to yourself. And another thing that people don't talk about, and they actually kind of lead you astray in this area, is that mortgage payments go up. Yes, principal and interest don't go up over time if you have a fixed rate mortgage, but your property taxes and your homeowner's insurance do, and that is almost always a part of your monthly payment. Those go up. So if you're budgeting based on what your current mortgage payment would be and not considering the increases year over year, you could be in big trouble. So instead of buying, if you're in that position, you should be renting a place and saving up as much money as possible and trying to increase your income to speed up the process. And regarding the prediction they made about more people going to a single family rental as their starter home, I highly recommend going with the smallest possible place you can rent so that you can speed up that process of saving. I don't recommend going and renting the dream home. That would keep you from buying the dream home later on. It's better to just get into the market, get into a place that's reasonable enough for your needs, and save up money so that you can buy a piece of real estate sooner than later. So let me know what you think of Zillow's market predictions. Were they accurate? Did they miss on all of them? Let me know in the comments below. And if you are considering a move to Maryland or anywhere across the country, reach out to me. If it's Maryland, I'm going to be happy to help you with your move here. And if it's anywhere across the country, I have a trusted network of agents anywhere that you need to move to that would be happy to help you. My information is listed below, and you can set up a one-on-one call with me easily by going in the description or the comments below and clicking on that link, and I'll get you set up with a plan for you and your move. And as always, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe so you stay up to date on all of my videos about moving to Maryland.